This is Road to the Golden Door, where we unpack the proven success formula straight from the minds of Golden Door winners, uncovering the motivation, methods, and the mindset it takes to become an elite performer in door-to-door sales and in life. This is Road to the Golden Door. Now, here's your host, Mikey Lucas.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. Road to the Golden Door. Have another absolute gangster on the call here. Somebody that's been that's very. If you don't know who this guy is, you're gonna want to sit back and listen to this one, because this dude, he claims he's just a regular guy, but he's definitely a superhero. And you'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. But this guy is he's out of San Diego. Taylor Armstrong, the host of the Solarpreneurs podcast. He's a top solar consultant to the top 1% of the solar guys in our industry. He runs a coaching business. He's got a software. He's got courses. I mean, he is helping out the industry entirely, and it's a really cool thing to be able to have a guy like Taylor in our industry. He's been doing door-to-door sales for 11 years. He sold religion for 2 years, sold pest control for a few years, and now is selling solar for the last 7. Hit Golden Door, 119 installs, 150 sales in 2019. Like I said, runs a successful solar office out of San Diego. Married, 2 kids, happily married, beautiful 2 kids. And the funny thing is that he hit a Golden Door, newly married, and his wife was pregnant during the Golden Door year. So if you think you're going through struggles, you're going to want to listen to this one, because Taylor has definitely had some breakthroughs and some struggles during his Golden Door year. And it's really exciting to see how consistent this kid has been over the last really 7 years. So Taylor Armstrong, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Excited to be here. And yeah, I guess I'm learning that I'm mortal. I thought I was invincible, but if you're watching the video, I got a little black guy right here. Started taking some jiu-jitsu classes, got nailed in the face. So I guess I'm seeing that I'm not as invincible as I thought I was, but yeah, I'm going to try every day. I'm going to go out there acting like I'm invincible, unstoppable. And I think that's one of the keys to hit the Golden Door. But yeah, I'm excited to be here, Mikey, and let's do this thing.
I love it. Awesome, dude. Well, yeah, man. So for everyone that doesn't know who Taylor Armstrong is, who is Taylor Armstrong?
Yeah, for sure. So we were talking just before we hit record here, but I consider myself just a regular dude. And I think in a way that's one of my superpowers, just because I think being a regular guy that's not like, I know you've had some other guests that are doing like insane volume of sales that come out in their first year, just cranking, just doing insane numbers. I was never one of those guys. And in a way, I consider that to be something where I can actually connect more with others, because I think that's the vast majority of the industry, and probably of any door-to-door industry, is most people feel like they're just regular guys, and sometimes maybe they can't relate with these Golden Door award winners. Maybe sometimes they feel like they're never going to hit the numbers or do big things, do great things. So I just feel like that I'm someone that's put in the effort, put in the time. Maybe I've had to work a little bit harder than other guys that have hit Golden Doors. But by doing small, consistent things over time, I've been able to achieve what I think is some great results. And I'm still on my journey. I'm still trying to achieve more and more, but I'm proud of what I have achieved up to this point. So yeah, I'd say I'm a regular dude that's been consistent. I'm a son of God, and yeah, family man. I have lots of mistakes in that, but yeah, that's some titles I would give myself, and always trying to improve in those areas.
Awesome, man. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's it's exciting, man. So let's jump right in, dude. What do you think are some of the reasons why Golden Door Award winners struggle so much in their personal life, yet excel in their business life?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't. From what I see, I think you look at highly successful guys. I think in any industry, everyone talks about like Elon Musk, how his family life isn't great. You look at any high level person, and I think a lot of times they're sacrificing other areas of their life to be successful in business, be successful in sports. You look at Tom Brady, he just retired, but you know, he lost his wife. His marriage ended probably because he was so focused on football, he didn't want to retire. And that's great. I mean, those guys achieve insane results and, you know, are legends in what they're doing. But yeah, at the same time, I really respect guys that can achieve at a high level and then also be successful in their family lives, also be successful in their churches. And what I've always heard from guys that are doing that, it's not that they're not going 100% in on business, but they're focusing in on different seasons, right? And I think that's the key. And what I've tried to focus on too is like when you're out there selling, you're 100% focused in on selling. If you're doing like maybe a solar blitz where you're out there working an area for a week or two, you're 100% focused in on that. And then when I'm home with my family, you know, I still make the mistake a lot of times of, you know, answering customer calls and checking my CRM, checking on my pipeline. But that's something that I'm trying to improve constantly is be present with my family, be present with my kids when I am home. And then when I'm out on the doors, this is something that I heard Ashton Buswell talk a lot about this lately too. I think, has Ashton been on your podcast? I think he is.
Yep.
Okay. So maybe he talked about this in your show, but he's something that I think has really mastered this is like when he's on the doors, he'll answer the phone if his wife calls and, you know, reps or whatever. But every time he answers, he says, "Hey, I'm out here knocking. Is this like an emergency?" And then if they say no, he's like, "Okay, well, I'll call you back when I'm off the doors." So that's something I really thought was cool. And something I'm trying to improve on too is just like when I am out there on the doors, when I'm in sales, whatever, um, just take advantage of that time. Cause as you have a family, as you're married, you get less and less time. And that's one of my maybe small regrets is that when I was single, I had a lot more time to go all in and didn't have a family, didn't have kids to come back to. So I think I could have definitely pushed harder, probably focus a little more on sales starting out. So that'd be a piece of advice too, is if you are single, you're not married, then take advantage of that time now because you're going to have more time than ever to sell and to get insane results because it's not going to be that way when you have married, have kids. You get less and less time and you got to focus in more and more. So yeah, that's what I would say.
I think Ashton still has he's got 4 or 5 kids,
Yeah.
right? And he's still just crushing it. So yeah, Ashton's a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
Have you had him on your show yet?
Yeah, he's been on twice. So
yeah, he's good,
yeah,
dude.
he's a baller.
Definitely good people. Yeah, he taught my my financial mastermind a couple weeks ago. He was and like instantaneously. I don't teach them sales in my group, Golden Door Formula Mastermind. We only do financial education.
Okay.
And so I bring on the top, Golden Door guys, and Ashton taught a few other the Golden Door guys that were in there. And the next week on our next financial call, they were like, "Yeah, I got referrals because I did what Ashton said to do." And I'm like, "Good." So it's Ashton has a lot of knowledge. And it's always good to hear, guys that they'll listen to this podcast, and I get messages all the time. Like when I was on your show, I still get messages from guys from watching me being interviewed by you on your show.
Nice.
And I still get DMs like, "I just saw you on the Solopreneurs podcast, blah, blah, blah." I actually got a lot of connections from being on your show. So I appreciate that, with the Zero, with Joe, that was, I never really realized that, you could make so many connections and networking through just being interviewed on a show. And that Zero thing really, really helped me out. So cool, man.
For sure.
So what I heard was being present with where you are. So let me dive into that a little bit. Taylor, why is 20 and 30-year-olds, why is our generation, we're the Western world, we're so fast, go, right? Like, I know it's sunny San Diego where you're at and everyone's on beach days and all that, but beach time, but why do you how does an entrepreneur, when we're in like the first like 3 to 5 years of our business like career, right? Whether that's a startup and you have to start up all the time, every 6 months to a year, but like, how do you become present and not completely destroy your marriage or not be there for your kids and regret that in the future? Like, how do we be present with where you are while you're married, wanting to get married, or like even with just your family in general, your mom, your dad? Like, how do you be present more with this, how fast everything's going on? I mean, you've got an app, right? Like how does, with social media, like how do you personally do that? And what do you recommend for other Golden Door guys and girls on how to get there?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I don't know if I have the for sure answer on that, but I have some things that I think help. But like I said, I think it's just setting the boundaries, setting times when like you're not on your phone, you're not on social media. Um, and just I try to set boundary like responding to DMs, just doing little social media fasts at times. I haven't been as much on Facebook, but I think another huge key of this, and we can get into this more later, is I know you have like assistants and stuff yourself, Mikey, but I think just outsourcing help so you're not the one that's constantly like on social media. Like for me and you, I don't think we're not editing our podcasts, we're not posting it. At least I don't think you are. Yeah. And so if we're doing that, we're gonna go crazy when we're not gonna have time for our wives and all that. So I think that's another huge key in this is you got to build teams around you. And that's part of why I named my podcast Solarpreneur, just because entrepreneurs, there's not many successful entrepreneurs that are doing everything themselves. There's like solopreneurs, which is where I got solarpreneurs, but entrepreneurs, they're building out different roles. They have people do different things. And so I think for us, in order to not go crazy, and all of us in sales, I think we all got ADD too. I'm pretty sure that's like a requirement to be in door-to-door sales. You gotta have ADD. So like we lose focus, and sometimes we get on this social media stuff. We get on Instagram, and all of a sudden an hour has passed. So it's, for me, I'm just trying to be a creator, not a consumer. Okay, because most people go on social media, they're there to consume. They're consuming content. So for me, it's like every time I go on, what's the goal? Okay, maybe I'm going on checking DMs. I'm checking in with like a few different, I follow the guys in the industry. I follow the Taylor McCarthy's, a lot of other guys that are in solar and everything. So I'll go and I'll watch their stories, stuff like that. But you can set like the limit on there where it notifies you if you spent more than 25 minutes. So I put mine on Instagram. You set it to where, say, hey, you've hit your time limit for the day. And then I try to just leave it at that. Or at least definitely not be consuming content for more than like 20 minutes. The rest of the time, the goal is just be a creator. Like, how can I create? How can I bring more connections? How can I add value to other people's lives? And that's been super powerful for me. And that's been how I've been able to build a successful podcast, get people now. And the coaching program I have is just be thinking that way. So that's what I would say is just number one, be a creator, not a consumer. Number two, set those time limits, set those restraints for yourself. And then number three, just build a team so you're not the one having to go post everything. If you're being a creator, you shouldn't have to go create you can create it, but then have someone else go upload it, make a social media schedule for yourself. Like if you're doing podcasts, if you're doing YouTube, have a video editor, and it's pretty easy to go find these people these days. Like you go Philippines, I have my virtual assistant, pay her like $350, $400 a month. And then you can get people on Upwork, video editors, things like that. So yeah, I'd say that's the biggest piece of advice I would have.
Okay, so it sounds like, thank you for sharing that, by the way. It sounds like you're time blocking. You're using like a time blocking method, and then you've clearly realized that your time is more valuable doing one of five different things, and you've learned to delegate. How hard was it for you to delegate in the beginning of that process?
Yeah, it was pretty hard. Because especially like my virtual assistant, she's from the Philippines. So sometimes I'm like, man, it's really far away. And there's things that she messes up on. And that's one of the downsides of it being so far away. It is better to have probably someone like in person that's close to you, just so you have more control over it. And, English is a little better, things like that. So that's ideal, but like you still get like my virtual assistant, she speaks great English. She's had experience in most of these tasks. Um, so I think one of the mistakes I made is you do have to have like a basic level of understanding of everything you want an assistant to do. Um, so if I wanted to edit a video, I should probably have like a basic knowledge of that. Because I think there's times where I have her do something that I don't really know how to do at all myself. And then it's like, okay, is this good? Is this bad? I'm not sure if she's doing a great job at this because I don't know myself. Um, but yeah, that's what I would say is just, um, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Was that the question? Just like, how hard
Yeah,
is
no,
it
that
to?
was it. That was it. Yeah. How hard, you said it, you answered it. It was just, how hard was it to, and the reason why I asked that is because I get that question all the time. I mean, I've
Yeah.
written countless, entrepreneur articles and entrepreneur.com articles and Inc. magazine articles around that specific topic of virtual assistants and how to become more efficient, effective, and productive. That's like one of my favorite topics to talk about, outside of finances and Jesus,
Mhm.
and marriage and sex, as we talked about before.
Yeah. That's right.
Oh God. Okay. Sorry. Just wanted to have a laugh there.
Yeah.
I love talking about scaling. What that for whatever for whatever it's worth to me, or whatever it's worth is I love to solve problems, right? I believe Jim Rohn talks about all the time. He's like, you get paid for the value and the problems that you solve in the marketplace, right? Elon Musk says the same thing. It's like, dude, like you got to solve problems. So I love being able to solve problems like that. So you're saying that it was hard. The reason why I asked that is because I need other. So to take a Golden Door Award winner from a single Golden Door and teach him how to become a double Golden Door winner, if he does the exact same thing the following year, the only way to do that is to become more efficient, effective, and productive. Like the only way.
For sure.
And if they
Yeah.
did it by willpower, like a hand texting, not having virtual assistants, not having an automated system, not having a customer referral, not building out referral programs.
Yeah.
Like you can hit Golden Door, but it is darn near impossible to hit a double or triple Golden Door if you're going to not have systems in place. So,
For sure.
yeah, it's interesting. So the question that I alluded to there was, how hard was it for you to delegate at first? And I think the answer is correct, which people don't really talk about.
Mhm.
It is very complicated as a superpreneur or entrepreneur. It is very hard to delegate, but that's where you go from a solopreneur to an entrepreneur, and then even eventually to a superpreneur, where you have to learn how to delegate,
Right.
and you have to have systems in place, to be able to build out standard operating procedures of how things are done. And
Yeah.
it's going to take a long time. It's not going to happen overnight. I mean, dude, like I usually do a 30-day onboarding process with my virtual assistants or executive assistants or anybody that comes onto my team that's not in sales. I'm even in sales technically too, but in my back end side, like it's 30 days of training and then another like 30 to 60 days after that of shadowing,
Yeah.
back and forth. So it takes a long time.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, and I think people need to realize too that yeah, no one's probably going to do it as good as you are for at least for a while, right? You say 30, 60 days onboarding. It's like you're going to lower the level of something probably. They're going to be asking tons of questions and then they're going to get up to speed. But once your assistant or whoever you're outsourcing things to, once they do get up to speed, it's going to take such a I guess just such a weight off your chest of one less thing you have to do, one less thing you have to worry about. Because all of us as sales professionals, if we can focus just 100% on the sales, now this is something that like Ricardo, Richie, a lot of those guys that have done, 300-400 deals do talk about is like they're 100% focused just on selling. That's it. It's like they don't do anything else besides sell. And that's the times when I produce the most too. It's just like I only sell. I don't manage accounts. I don't worry about all this other stuff. I'm not sending gifts to my customers myself. It's like I'm selling, passing off to account manager, passing off to assistants, and then on to the next one, right? So I think that's for, like you said, that's how volume is done. And that's what top producers are doing. They're only focusing on the sales as much as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, yeah. Okay. That's kind of a transition, but walk me through that too. Why, let's go now. Let's talk to the guys that are selling 50, 60 deals a year really quick. So are you telling me that they would go from 50, 60 sales if they're putting in the hours to 100 to 150 sales a year if they had a better focus?
Yeah, probably. I mean, a lot of factors in it, but I think that's going to instantly help, because a big mistake I see for guys that are just doing 50 to 60 deals is like they're managing their own accounts. They're handling all their customers. For example, like say you're in an HOA, they're contacting the HOA, they're getting HOA documents for their solar customers. Maybe they're spending an extra hour or two just managing accounts. And it, like, there's guys that still do that. Don't get me wrong. Like, I think Ashton, um, when he came on my podcast, I don't think he actually has like assistants and stuff. And I think he still manages a lot of his accounts.
He still manages his own stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's guys that do it for sure. And those guys like Ashton, he's stud of a salesman. He can sell anybody. But I think guys that are doing like insane levels, like double golden doors, like you talked about, those people definitely have like almost everything outsourced from what I've seen. It's like they're not touching an account. And they have their account managers or assistants answering customer questions. There any document that needs to be done, they're paying account managers to do it, paying their assistants to do it, because they have so many sales in the pipeline. And I think that's a big reason why setter closer model is taken off too. Because for guys that just sell, like they're not really setting accounts either. Like they're just selling, they're just in the closes. So guys that are doing high volumes, they're training their setters to do that part of it. So they don't even have focus on lead gen. It's like 100% sales. So yeah, I think if you implement one of these things, that's going to improve, right? But it's like 1% here, 1% there. And then as you implement more and more, it's going to help. Like sales skills is one of them. Outsourcing things is another 1%. Maybe building your referral program is another 1%. Getting setters is another 1%. So it's like you focus on one at a time, you build one at a time, and then maybe once you get, some setters through the door, then you focus on another aspect of it. And I think, yeah, that's what's going to take these guys from 50 to 60 to making, maybe 70 to 80 the next year, then maybe 80 to 100 by next year, as they're focused on just one aspect of that at a time.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, your sales, and then getting referrals from those sales. And I don't think you get referrals from those sales. You can go from 50 to 70 in 1 year if you just focus on your own personal sales pipeline, like alone.
Yeah.
Like I think that that's one of the biggest issues that are the solar and even real estate industry and all these other industries have, pests, all these guys. Maybe not pest control, but roofing and solar for sure. Is and whatever industry maybe you will be in, if you're listening. But I think that the companies sell us a bill of goods that we can set it and forget it, and that even if it's their virtual assistants or their assistants, their operations people are going to call, they're probably not going to call. There's like a handful of companies, that actually do that, and majority of people don't work at those handful of companies.
Right.
They don't actually have a system in place that reaches out to your customer as much as your customer needs to be reached out to make sure that the thing gets installed, first of all. So there's your pull-through rate, and then your referrals. So when you ghost your customer after 2-3 weeks, you're not getting any referrals, because first of all, you haven't touched the customer again. And then they're like, well, why would I send my pastor or my mom or daughter to you if you're going to just, ghost them too? That makes that person look bad. So yeah.
And I think it's important to be checking in. Like you said, one of the processes I set in place with my assistant is just sending an update every Friday, whether there's an update or not, just like,
Or not. Yeah.
and I don't have to remember to do it. I just teach her how to go into the CRM, look at the status, send off an update. And then that's increased my referrals just by doing that. So I think that's one simple thing. If someone's listening, they're like, oh, this is way too many things to do, I'm never going to do this. But maybe start with that. Start sending, maybe outsource an update every week, or maybe just start with you yourself sending an update. And I think that's going to help increase referrals, and then you can build upon that as you go. So
basically, in other words, let me just get this clear for the listeners. If in other words, I think what most of the listeners here have a problem with in their head is matching together that if they spend time doing pipeline management and updating their customers, that it actually will lead to more money, not less money. So it sounds initially like it's a waste of time because we've been told for so long, go knock, go knock, go knock, go knock, go knock, go knock, go knock.
Yeah.
Right. Which knocking, trust me, you should be knocking more doors. You should be knocking.
Yeah.
But most of you that are knocking, okay, knocking, then if you're spending an extra hour or two a week on pipeline management plus reaching out to your clients, then yeah, it will lead to more money. I think that's one of the hurdles that guys don't tie together, is that you'll actually make more money on doing that action. Otherwise, why would you do it? You're not going to do it if you don't make money on it.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times you like running into issues and getting cancels.
Yeah.
Like that happens when you do follow up.
Yeah. I think one of the mistakes I made too is I would hear these things. I would be in different coaching programs. I heard other guys doing this. I'm like, sweet, I'm going to do it. But then what I would do, the mistake I made is I would be out on the doors. It'd be like 4:00 and I'd be like, man, I'm getting tons of rejection right now. I don't want to do this. You know what? I remember this other thing people were doing about following up with their customers, sending updates. I'm going to go do this instead of knocking doors at 4 or 5 o'clock. So that's a huge mistake I made, is because like you can do that, but don't have it be like the time that was scheduled for something else. Because I think guys, like, we play this tricks with ourselves. I played the trick with myself where I'm like, oh, I'm being productive. I'm out there working. I'm not doing what I said I was going to do, but I'm still working. I'm doing something productive. And it's good. It's not like, at least I wasn't out there playing Clash of Clans or something on my phone, right? But still, it's like, I think I left a lot of money on the table just because I tricked myself and I think I'm doing the best activity right then. Where what I should have done is schedule that, like do that in the morning where it's not like prime time, and then do what you told yourself, keep that commitment to yourself, and be out on the doors from 4 to 8 or whenever you told yourself you're going to. So it's like, yes, do these things. Yes, put the systems in place, but don't have them, like, don't do it when you made the other commitments yourself. In other words, don't like distract yourself with it. Don't make it like an excuse to not knock doors. Like, schedule the time, block it in, do it like a Friday morning or something, and then set up a system. And I think that's a huge difference between like medium producers and high producers, is they're time blocking it and setting up a system like that.
So let's get into that just a little bit. Since we're already there, I'd like to know that everyone asks me that all the time. It's like, Mikey, what's your calendar? Mikey, like, how do you break down your days? Whatever. And mine changes all the time. Like, I'm never really there is a level of consistencies inside of that, but it's really never the exact same, Taylor. So I want to know kind of what are some of the things that you have seen in your daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly routine that is benefited you or hurt you. And I know, for instance, like you said, like, hey, I'm doing productive things, moving my projects through, but that's also limiting. And again, yeah, I think everybody that's listening to the show has struggled with that or has made that mistake. Yeah, let's talk about your schedule with whatever it is. And some guys, just be clear on this for everyone, all the listeners, you do not have to be a holy crap, you have all 16, 18 hours of your day booked out. Like, you don't have to know where your schedule is going to be at all times. The moment you do that, you are literally opening yourself up for failure, because you just, well, I can't do this. Well, I can't do anything. I can't even stick to this thing schedule. Like, you have to understand that top performers, and you'll hear from Taylor here in a second, your top performers, these guys, yes, there is a level of consistency in the routines that they do on a yearly, quarterly, monthly basis, daily basis, but it's ever changing. So, Taylor, what I guess you could say, what is your routine, right? Like, I hate when guys ask that, because I'm like, you're lying. You don't do that routine every single day. Some guys are consistent in certain things, but what are the things that you do on a consistent basis, or teach?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, I think it goes back to, if guys haven't read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, you got to read that. like Stephen Covey, he talks about what are your big rocks, put your big rocks in the jar, and then you can fill the rest with sand, and it's going to fill in the gaps, right? But not the other way, not the other way around. A lot of guys, they put in the sand first and try to fit the big rocks in there. Not going to work, right? So that's something I stick to, is like, what are the big rocks? What are the things I need to get done? And like you said, Mikey, it's not like it's a set schedule every day. Like if I have an appointment in the morning, that's a money making opportunity. I'm going to take it for sure, right? I'm not going to be able to go. I can't take this. Gotta go hit the gym first. Like 100%, I'm going to go take that appointment. Then yeah, I will fill in the other things later. But as far as like kind of like a skeleton agenda that I generally follow, does make it easier with kids, right? Because can't really sleep in now. Got kids waking up early. So if you want a built-in alarm clock, guess that's a benefit of having kids. Go pop one of those out.
I think I heard one of them a little bit earlier.
Yeah, you probably did. He was banging on the door. That's when I lost my train of thought earlier. But yeah, so the skeleton schedule I set is I'm up about 7:30 and then hitting the gym after that. We go to just the gym, LA Fitness out here. They got a little daycare, so take the kids there, drop them off, hitting the gym for about an hour and a half, come back, and then I'm doing like some sales training. I'm doing studying, about 30 minutes or so where I'm just sharpening the saw, focusing in on that. And then yeah, from there, eating all my food, all that good stuff. And then spending typically an hour or so with just the fam, the kids out here. And then I'm out there. Just most days, it's like 2 o'clock, 2 to 8 are generally like my working hours when I'm out there, either in appointments or I'm on doors and trying to be only doing that. So if I have like pipeline management stuff to do, I'm doing that in the mornings. If I have documents, trying to handle all that in the mornings. Okay, and again, this is skeleton, so it's like, yeah, if I have appointments, I've got my setters out here, they're setting up deals. So I'm not gonna, if I have an appointment in the morning, yeah, I'm gonna adjust around that. Like gyms have showers, right? So go to your appointment and go hit the gym between it, then go to the other appointments. But that's kind of a general schedule that I keep for myself. And this is year round too. So if guys that are listening to this, maybe they're just like working the summer or whatever, then yeah, you got to treat that as more like a sprint, I'd say. Because like we know how it is in pest control, you're starting out at what, 10:30. A lot of guys are starting mornings and going all day long. So, but me having a family and doing this year round, yeah, I got to have some balance and all that. And again, there's seasons where I'm going harder for blitzing or something like that. Then I'm starting the morning, going all day long. But as far as working the year-round market, that's the general schedule I'm keeping myself. And I just try to hit, family time, doing some type of workout, getting some sweat in. And then, of course, the money-making activities, hitting the doors. I treat like contacting referrals. That's prospecting too. So there's going to be some of that in there. And then, of course, getting inside homes, getting in appointments, just making that money. And then, of course, I've got like the side business coaching. So that's another thing I do in the morning too, is usually it's an hour or two of just following up with coaching clients and then doing prospecting for that. And that's happening in the morning before appointments, unless I have morning appointments. So yeah, it's the general schedule I follow for myself and keep it flexible. I'm not trying to be super rigid with it, but just getting those big rocks in and going from there.
Love that. Thanks for sharing that, bro. So let me ask you, I got a couple questions around that really quick. So explain to me this situation, this mind-blowing concept about how gyms have showers.
Yeah, that alone.
Why do guys forget that gyms have showers?
I don't know, man. I forgot too, but that's crazy just doing that. Even if you plan on going back home, if you're going in the morning and going back home, like I'd almost recommend just showering at the gym, because I've noticed that. Yeah. Because like I've noticed that if I shower at the gym, like just showering at the gym versus going home and showering, like I take way longer showers at home too. So I don't know what it is. It's just like, because I don't know, at least for me, I'm not really like necessarily enjoying a shower at the gym. I know there's like 20 guys around me, and it's not like a nice shower or anything. So like the purpose is you just shower and get out of there. So yeah, that alone is like, or even doing it before like a sales meeting. Like right now we're doing sales meetings Tuesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. So it's like hit the gym before that, shower, and then go to the sales meeting. And yeah, it's just it's mind blowing. So it's a revolutionary concept. I'd recommend it to guys. Shower at the gym and then go straight out.
So let me ask you this then. So basically, are you saying that has helped you make more money, buy back more time so you can spend more time with your wife and kids by packing a bag and having a clean pair of undies, socks, work clothes, and gym clothes in your car at all times? Is that's been profitable to you?
Oh yeah, 100%. Doesn't make your
guys,
car smell better, but makes you money. Most important.
You heard it from Taylor. You heard it from Taylor, guys. Just drive a Tesla and put the dirty clothes in the front.
That's right.
All right. Yeah, dude. I think that was probably one. I mean, I started doing that when I lived in San Diego, as a matter of fact, because my house was like at least 35 minutes from where I surfed at. So nice. I wasn't going to go. I wanted to drag on the amount of time that I could surf. So I started realizing the time constraint that I would have if I wanted to surf longer, if I wanted to go surf, gym, then to work. So that was something that I learned fairly quickly. And I think the main thing there is like to become more efficient, just to be super clear on that, is if your gym does not offer like to-go bags for your wet clothes, you absolutely should have that. And if that means you going and buying those off of Amazon, do that. If it means repurposing Target grocery bags, whatever, do that. Not like reusing them over and over again, but like reusing the bags your wife brought for groceries or whatever, doing that. And then also going in, if your gym, some gyms for whatever reason don't offer towel services, like towels that you can actually dry your body with, go and buy a 20, 30 pack of white from Amazon or Walmart, wherever. And that way you don't have to do laundry every single week. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like solve the problem. Like I hear it too often where I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't have, if I had more time, I would, if I had more money, I would, if I would, it's like, what are you talking about? This is not you. This is just the excuses that I hear all the time. I'm like, not all the time, but I hear occasionally is, I don't have enough time to be able to do that, whatever. Okay. This is actually me projecting. Let me go back to this. Let me slow down. I do hear that, but actually this morning, I actually caught myself saying that. Mm-hmm. Oh man, it must be nice for Leo. He gets to swim every single day, in the pool, in the lap pool here at the building. Must be nice for him. He must have all the time in the world. If I had more time, I would go down there and swim with him too. Yeah. And I was like, wait a second. Years ago, I literally said, if I only had a lap pool at my house, I would swim in that every day. And I have had a lap pool in my house for the last year, and I have not used it but one time for a lap pool. So as soon as this is over, I'm going to go on Amazon. I'm going to drink my own potion here. I'm going to go on Amazon. I'm going to buy myself goggles, and I'm going to start swimming. So it was like, dude, I was like, yeah, it must be nice for Leo. I'm over here. And like literally I justified it. Last week I tracked 98 hours working tracked. Like, I don't have any time to go swimming. Like first of all, 10 minutes of swimming is hard enough as it is. So like, yeah. I'm not going to go do an hour and a half worth of swimming. All I need is before I get in the shower, go downstairs, swim 10 laps and come back upstairs. That's a full blown workout for me. I am out of swimming shape. There's no way I'm in swimming shape. So 10 laps, I'm going to be dead. It's going to take me 20 minutes to go up and down the stairs and get in the pool, getting it out, go shower after that, go back to work.
Yeah. So
yeah. I hear it from guys, and I just now realized that I said that to myself this morning. I literally said, must be nice for Leo. He trains for micro triathlons, whatever. Must be nice for him. He must have all the time in the world. He's a general manager of Mercedes-Benz in the big Houston. I'm like, there's no way this guy has all that time. He doesn't. He just doesn't. So anyways, okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, some of those luxury gyms are nice. They got the top. My gym doesn't, but my buddy took me to one of the like luxury gyms where they got the towels. Everything's super nice in there. And
Lifetime and all that.
yeah,
Lifetime
yeah,
Equinox or whatever.
yeah, yeah. So it's like those
OBC has
places.
that.
Yeah, yeah. I'd consider like for those listening, maybe consider one of those places. You got your towels. You don't got to wash them because guys got to understand you're literally buying time doing a lot of these things, right?
Yeah.
What's one thing you can't replace? Time, but you can replace money. So guys got to consider that. It's like just think about that as you're making your decisions. Can you buy more time with your money? And I think that's one of the coolest things about doing a lot of these things we're talking about.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Yeah, is it worth going from 24-hour fitness, which is like $20 to $40 a month, to a lifetime fitness, which is $150 to $200 a month, to buy back your time of washing towels?
Yeah. Good. Cool concept.
And having a nicer shower.
Yeah.
And having razor blades there and Q-tips and mouthwash and all the other stuff. Like, is it? Yeah, when I go to Lifetime Fitness, I got 3 towels. I'm standing on a towel. I even stand on a towel when I go there. I'm like, I'm standing on a towel. There's so many towels. I'm gonna stand on one.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh god.
And you can walk on at least the one I went to, you can walk on the floor like in your feet without feeling like you're gonna get AIDS or something. It's like
I know, dude. Oh my god, I know.
Like some of these other gyms.
I think guys, even at the same time, they're like, I'm not gonna go because the floors are nasty. Well, buy freaking Crocs.
Yeah.
Buy Crocs. Like put Crocs in your gym bag so that you actually shower in the gym.
Yeah.
Like solve the problem.
Yeah.
Oh,
there you go.
So it sounds like you're doing about 6 hours of appointments and knocking from 2 to 8. Generally speaking, obviously if there's AM appointments or whatever, but you're non-negotiable if you don't have you do your best not to schedule dentists, checkups with the doctors, anything crazy from 2 to 8.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because that's just a skew like low producers all the time. Like it's like, hey, why weren't you knocking? Oh, I had a dentist appointment. Oh, I had this, that. It's like in Soul where you got all morning, man. Yeah.
Brake change, you're like,
yeah.
Right.
Got all morning. And it's like, again, it's like, what can you outsource to? So number one, figure out if some of these things you can outsource, maybe have someone else do. And then number two, just like, don't put these things during your prime working hours. Time block it and do the things that you do. Keep the commitments that you made for yourself. So yeah, it's huge.
Taylor, my barber that I've been going to for the last 12 years only can cut my hair at 5:30.
Get a new barber, man. Get a new.
No, there is nobody else out there that can cut hair like this god of a hairstylist.
Yeah, well, got one day off. Take your day off. Go on that day, right?
Suppose so, right? Or find a new barber. Dang it.
Yeah, for sure.
Not only that, your barber's probably an hour away from you. 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back. It's like there goes a whole other hour right there. Plus I think that's a big issue that I think all of the millennials, 20 and 30-year-olds have is the value of time. And I wrote that down as an attribute of yours, of that you value, that you have a higher level respect of time value.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from?
Well, I don't know. I would say it almost goes back to my days like in college. Some people know this about me, some people don't, but I was actually a music major at my college, Southern Utah University. But all of my friends, like I was the one like band nerd, practicing music, playing drums and all that. All my friends were just like regular majors, go to school, come back. They had hours, like way more time in their day. So I realized like, okay, as a music major, it's like you're going to your classes, but then you're also practicing for like, you got 2 hours of rehearsal and then you're supposed to practice at least another 2 hours on top of that. So instantly that's already another 4 hours on top of like what a regular major would have, if not more. You're doing way more for less credits. So I'm like, okay, how can I still be able to hang out with my buddies and not just be like, I don't know, practicing all day long and still be able to go to the gym? Because most people as music majors, they're just, these people are band nerds, right? They're not going to the gym. They're not like, I mean, there's some cool guys too, but don't get me wrong. There's some of them that's like all they're doing is just practicing and hanging out in the band room and all that. So I just wanted to like still have a life outside of it. So I think that's where it started. I'm like, okay, I'm going to block this out early morning. I'm going to go practice my drums and all that. Then I'm going to go to my rehearsal and then I'm going to be done. I'm going to move on to the next thing, go to the gym. So I'd say that's where it started. It's just to try to have like a sense of a normal life where I wasn't just like music geek all day, every day. And then I just tried to bring that into sales, and I still struggle with it. So, I mean, you're not going to be perfect with that. I still waste time from 2 to 8. There's times where I catch myself just getting on social media or feeling demotivated. So there's still definitely like probably a couple days during a week where I'll catch myself doing some of those things. But it's like, yeah, I think you got to get an accountability buddy too. For guys with teams, I would say go out with other guys. That's one of the biggest secrets. I know like Michael O'Donnell talks about this too, is if you're knocking, like go out and go train a guy or like literally pay someone to go out and knock with you, because it's way harder to do these things if you're just going out by yourself, driving to an area. Way tougher. But if you pick someone up, or if you got dropped off, something like that, if you're going out with someone else, if you're going out with your team, then it's a lot easier to eliminate those distractions, because you're like, okay, well, my coworker, my buddy, he's literally knocking on the street next to me. Like I'm gonna look, yeah, I'm gonna look terrible if he passes by and I'm here sitting in my car, wasting time, right? So I think that's another big secret, is see if you can get someone else, work with your team. That's the purpose of a team. You work together and you hold each other accountable. So yeah, I think that's where it started, though. To go back to the question, is just going back to the college days, which I didn't graduate yet, by the way, but maybe someday.
You're a college dropout.
Yep. My mom's not happy about it, but she's still trying to get me to go back to school.
Why?
Just because her
You're a
generation.
music major.
I know.
What are you going to use that for?
I was going to be a band teacher, man. Make $30,000 a year being a band teacher. That was the thing.
What do they make roughly? Like
Starting out.
50?
Yeah, starting out in Utah, that's what you'd make as like a band teacher. I'm sure it's increased more since then, but yeah, that's why I didn't graduate. I'm like, man, I'm gonna go to school for 4 years and then be a band teacher and make like $30,000 a year. And
all right, let's dive into that. Let's dive into that. Let's camp there for a second. Taylor, you're consistently a top performer. You're telling me that you struggled or still struggle or have struggled in the past with pleasing your parents.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And how old are you now? 30 what?
29, almost 30.
Almost 30 years old.
Yeah.
You're almost 30 years old. And mom still wants you to go back and finish your band class degree to go make 30 grand a year. And you're a top performer in the solar industry.
Yeah. Well,
so pause.
Okay.
Let me finish this.
Okay.
Explain to the other Golden Door Award winners and everybody else that's listening how you mentally have to disobey your mom.
Okay.
And are okay with that.
Yeah, well, that was huge. Okay, well, I guess I'll clarify. It's not so much now, like, don't get me wrong. Now she's accepted that I'm out here and that I'm not going back to school, at least for now. But I will say the first 2 years in solar, she was constantly on my back, and it was a huge thing. Like I would have almost mental breakdowns, just because at this point I was making more than a band teacher, but I wasn't making like insane money in solar yet. Definitely wasn't doing six figures my first 2 years. So I went back and forth, and I would have like mental breakdowns because my mom would be like, "What are you doing? Yeah, you can make okay money, but like you're gonna fail your future family. You're not gonna have a career in this." And it got to that point. So I would like just sometimes be out there like, what am I doing? How am I gonna overcome this? So that's something I talk about in my podcast. That was one of the tipping points, is I had to decide, okay, am I going to disobey my parents? Am I going to like go out and prove them wrong? So that was one of my motivations starting out in solar, was to prove my parents wrong, that I could like have success in this. And I think where it all changed for me is, I went out and like won our big company competition, won the trip to Hawaii, all that stuff. And the whole goal of that was just like, okay, let me show myself that I can have success in this. Let me go out and be a top rep. I'm sick of being average. I either need to go back to school and listen to my parents, or I need to go all in with this, go out and win the competition and go out and make more money than I ever have had in like a 2-month period. And since then, I think that's where things got a lot better and started improving. So I don't know if there's other people that struggle with that, but yeah, my parents were being from Utah. A lot of like Mormon culture, people have heard about that. It's like everyone goes to school, everyone gets their degree. So it's something I had to overcome, because in a way it felt like I was like disobeying my religion for a minute. I mean, that's not like part of the religion or anything, but that's just kind of
Right.
how.
Well, obey your parents is, obey your mother and father is, absolutely. It's one of the 10 commandments, is it not?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was a huge thing, and I had to overcome it. But yeah, I think that's a big part of my story for sure, is overcoming that.
That is wow. I don't even know why I said that. Honor your mother and your father is number 5.
Yeah.
Honor your mother and father. Number 5, 10 commandments. It is dishonoring. It is part of religion.
Yeah. Except when it comes to selling solar, they tell you not to. And don't. But everything else.
Oh man. I mean, I think that's one of the struggles, bro. Like that's a cool thing to talk about. I'm glad that we were able to bring that up and talk about that, because dude, guys do struggle with that.
Yeah.
That's a thing. That's a real thing. That's how you're 30 years old almost, bro. You still said for now.
Yeah. Well, it would be cool to get
for now. I haven't finished college for now. Like there's still that like in the back of your head, even though mom and dad has accepted it, there's still like you said, like for now, I didn't finish my degree.
Yeah. Well, and I still do I still do think it would be cool to have a degree, but I don't see like the need for it now, but like
a music
someday.
degree. I mean, they should hire you anyway to be a band teacher without the degree. Some of these band teachers and theater teachers suck.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, maybe I'll be like that 70-year-old guy that's like on the news finally getting his degree or something. But
I could totally see that. I can totally see that. Honor your mother and your father, except for in solar.
Yeah, exactly.
Taylor, what are some of the? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say too, like especially when you're getting average results, like I was. That's part of why I was struggling so much, is because it's like if I was crushing it, making a ton of money, then yeah, I'm not gonna have second thoughts. Like, of course, I'm gonna go all in this, but it just came to a point where I had to like accept being average or just get out and go back to what I was doing. And luckily I decided, okay, I'm going to stop being average. I'm going to go out and go all in and see what can happen. So I think that's a big principle for guys that are getting average results. Like, ask yourself, are you going all in? And then are you doing what it takes, what's necessary? And if you go all in and you're still getting average results, then yeah, maybe solar isn't for you, right? But I think most guys haven't even gotten to the point where they go all in and really see what they can do if they go all out for a 2-month sprint or something like that. So
yeah, I think that's pretty important.
Yeah.
And it's the struggle of someone that's a top performer. And for the listeners, I want you to just, understand that Taylor Armstrong, solarpreneur, someone that's famous in our industry, struggles with that. So I'm glad that you're able to be vulnerable with us there, brother. Appreciate that.
Yeah, 100%.
I wrote down some of the quotes that you live by. What are some of the quotes? I'll say them here in a second, but what are some of the quotes that you think that you repeat to yourself over and over again, or that you've used to help you get through, to break through, or anything like that? Like, what are some of those quotes that you say to yourself over and
over? Yeah, I have daily affirmations, and I'm always picking up new ones from guys. But like the first one that I said to myself, like I think a lot of people have read Psychology Cells by Brian Tracy. And his whole thing is like, I like myself and I love my job. So I was on one of the first ones, and I still repeat that between doors to this day. And then so I think that's a great one. Just get the original Brian Tracy one, but there's a lot of other ones like Taylor McCarthy. They have their whole affirmations they go through. So I think you can create your own and just like you asked me in the beginning, Mikey, it's like, who are you? I think that's a good question for guys to figure out and write down. Like, who are you? I think it's Casey Baugh. He has this whole weekly planning thing, and that's one of the things that he does is he writes out his whole list of who he is. And I think that goes on. I can't remember. It's like the first 10 minutes of his planning or something, just writing out who he is. So sometimes I think I get lost in that, and think guys really need to figure out who are they. I think along with your affirmations, that's a good thing to recognize. Like, I am a son of God. I am a family man. I am the greatest salesman in the world. And also doing these things before every appointment. That's something that I try to do, is just get yourself pumped up, do the whole Wolf of Wall Street routine. I got my little scent sniffers, sniff in the scent. So it's triggering that subconscious feeling of attaching it to you closing the next deal. Yeah, there you go. I got it right there. And then just doing those affirmations like, I am the greatest salesman in solar. I can close any deal. I'm on the edge of greatness and I'm going to take the next step. Stuff like that. Just yelling it, getting yourself psyched, and those things. For me, they help a lot. And I know there's like psychological studies and all that. I don't know all the stuff behind it, but yeah, I know for sure that helps you. So definitely having the affirmations and then figuring out those I am statements can be a huge part of every Golden Door winner, I believe.
Yeah, I've noticed that, and everybody that I've interviewed has some sort of word track.
Yeah.
And you're right, it changes. It's not always the same thing. But I think I know, and I've studied this identity crisis that we have. We have a major identity crisis. We are Democrat or Republican. We are white or we are black. Instead of a attribute, right? Like Martin Luther King says, you judge my sons and daughters based off of their character, the contents of their character, rather than the color of their skin, rather than what, I'm a dolphin today. I don't know. Right. We've got this like identity crisis I've seen the identity crisis for a long time, but it's getting even worse now.
Yeah.
And I think that all top performers, the reason why they're a top performer is because they at least have a grip on who they are and what they represent and what they do. Not every one of them, but they at least have a grip on it. Like, at least they know, like, yeah, I am fully capable of closing this deal, or I'm fully whatever, right? Like they have a level of understanding of who they are.
Yeah.
And why they're doing what they're doing. So
yeah,
I appreciate you showing that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got to have that supreme confidence, even if you're feeling down. It's like any Golden Door winner, guarantee they got to have extreme confidence to close that amount of deals. And so sometimes I don't feel as confident as other times, but yeah, these things help, just getting yourself fired up and just faking it at least. Like, even though, I know I'm not the top guy in solar, but I'm going to act that way. I'm going to tell myself that every deal I walk into. Right. So
exactly.
super important.
I'm going to get, dude, this homeowner gave me so many referrals. They loved my service. They literally invited me back. They wanted to adopt me now. Right. Those would be things that I would actually say. So, dude, these people
Nice.
loved solar. They love it. 2 years later, they're still sending me referrals. Wow.
Yeah.
I love clients like this. Clients like this.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah, I definitely say I like myself. I love my job. I like myself. I like myself. I love my job. I love my job. I love my job. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Brian Tracy, that's a good one. That was definitely one of the first ones. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
I hear knocking by myself. I like myself. Ooh, I love my job. All right. That was one of the first things.
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed another thing you said earlier was I'm a creator, not a consumer of social media. And I was like, wow, that's a really, and I kind of wanted to jump in that a little bit, but I don't want to touch on it too long. But my observation is that you're okay with consuming social media. I think a lot of guys, there's just like guilt of like, oh man, I just consumed 2 hours worth of social media. It's like, or even some other guys, I just consumed 5 minutes of social media. Dang it, I'm such a loser now. It's like, no, bro, like, it's okay to consume content. Like, you should stay connected. We are connected individuals. And one of the cool things about social media is it's us being able to connect with, other guys and girls in the industry and be like, wow, they're out there struggling too. They just got to cancel, right?
Yeah.
Brenton Clark, I saw he posted a couple of weeks ago, like a screenshot of like 50 different messages from homeowners. It wasn't 50, it was like 12. It was like, nah, Brenton, we're not moving forward. Brenton, hey, look, man, need to cancel. Hey, Brenton, this is just not going to work out. Hey, Brenton, we decided to go with another company. And he just posted like 12 on one post. And I was like, see, that's the things that I like to see.
Yeah.
Because no matter if it's whatever industry you're in, like you have to understand that even the top guys, Brenton Clark is a Golden Door Award winner. He's a Golden Door in PES, and now he's going to be he's a multi Golden Door Award winner. So now he's going to be a Golden Door winner this year in solar. So,
Nice.
We struggle. And, I try to use this platform, use social media, this podcast and my social media as a platform for my weaknesses, not just to show how cool and how many cool cars I have. Like, it has nothing to do with that. That is just a byproduct of the struggle and the resiliency that, I continue to have. And I know that you have as well. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I'm sure you can agree. Like, I get way more DMs and people watching my story or whatever when it's about something I'm struggling with, like versus like me posting that I just closed a huge system or whatever. Yeah.
They're like, no.
Yeah. So guys connect with that. And yeah, I mean, it's important for business too. Like a lot of recruiting to be done on social media. So yeah, you definitely shouldn't avoid it. But like I get recruits from this. Just I think that's why it's important to stay connected. Like if you're pumping others up, be like, oh, dude, that's awesome. You closed this huge deal. So that's another purpose of going on social media, just connecting with other people. And then maybe it's like if they're having problems getting paid or whatever is happening, guess who they're going to remember? They're going to remember the people who are connected with them on social media, who are pumping them up, fired them up about their deals. The recruits are coming from that. And then, yeah, great for networking. Then for me, it's also like clients, and my coaching business, things like that. So that's the other reason why, yeah, you're creating, but then you're also going in there, I think, to network. I'm trying not to go just watch cat videos or whatever, but like go watch the stories of people that are in the industry who are posting valuable stuff and who are people that I want to stay connected with. Right. So got up the goals for why you're going on.
Thanks. Love that.
Yeah.
Let me try to end the plane here. I'm going to need to have you back on because I have 45 more questions for you, but I'll try to slowly end the plane here.
Right.
Your wife was pregnant during your Golden Door year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How in the hell did you do that?
Like how are babies made, or how did I get her pregnant?
No, I understand how babies are made and the bees and the butterflies, whatever that works, right? How did you overcome that you were going to be out selling 150 deals that year with your wife? And how did you do that in the beginning, in the middle, 75% of the way through, and then at the end? How did you sell your wife and get on board with that while she was pregnant?
Yeah.
And you were in Utah, were you? Where your family's at? You were in California.
No, we were.
Or you don't have family yet.
Right. Yeah,
that's
that is a good question. Well, I think like there was a build-up period. I think she just understood like 2018. That's when our team, we were starting to get a lot more setters on. We're starting to close a lot more deals towards the end of it. And then 2019, we just built a ton of momentum. So I don't know. I think part of it was she was just already kind of conditioned to like, okay, if there's an appointment coming in, like I got to be at that appointment. Like, well trained, she knew. But yeah, it was tough. Yeah, and like to be honest, I probably wasn't there for as much as I needed to be, and probably caused some friction and everything. But yeah, I think it just like understanding, hey, if there's a 9 a.m. appointment, I gotta be at it, honey. Like, I'm sorry, I'll get you whatever you need. If there's not an appointment later, I'm gonna come back, take care of you. But it just came down to that. And luckily we did have like a lot of support in our church out here, and she had friends, things like that. So yeah, I guess if someone listening to this, if your wife or significant other, whatever, is pregnant, then try to get people around to help out. If you don't have family, maybe it's people from church, friends, whatever. But that definitely was huge. Just like getting a lot of support from friends and then people at church. And then, yeah, just trying to like coming back to the principles we talked about before, trying to time block as much as I could. And yeah, there were still evenings. Like, if I had early mornings where I needed to be at appointments and I didn't have any in the evenings, yeah, a lot of the evenings I would go back and help her out. So I probably could have done even more. Because imagine like if I would have gone out some of these evenings, tried to generate more leads, things like that. But yeah, I just tried to be in appointments whenever there was one, and we had a big, massive setter team, so that definitely made it easier. I think that's the easiest path to Golden Door, and I know most high producers on here, they do have big teams of setters. So it's just like you're gonna be at these appointments when they happen, and we're cranking lots of same days too. So even when I didn't have appointments, it's like there were same day appointments coming in, closing those. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't have the perfect answer for that, but that's what I did. And luckily we're still together. Luckily she forgave me for times where I wasn't there as much as I needed to be. But yeah, that's how it went.
Yeah, the struggle's real. And I think that's cool that you guys were able to work through that. And, ultimately, the other side is the success story. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Are you still getting a ton of referrals from solar?
Yeah, still getting a lot. Probably not as many as like Ash and some of these guys, but like my goal, and we can dig into that more if you want to, but I can talk about it just briefly, is my goal is to just walk out of every deal I'm in, especially if it's closed, walk out of every one with a minimum of 3 referrals. So that's name and numbers on a sheet. That's like a 3-way text to connect me with that person. I try to walk out with a minimum of 3. And biggest thing, and I've had people help me with this process. Like I've learned this from guys like Ashton. I hired a guy to help me build out a referral system. His name was James Rushing. He helped me build out some of this. But yeah, just have like a sheet. A lot of these old school Cutco guys, that's what they did, is they worked all through referrals. So I think we can implement a lot of the same things in solar. Just carry out like every appointment, carry a physical like referral sheet. And then before you leave that, just getting them involved in the process. Hey, we work through word of mouth. Has to be something that's talked about early and often, right? From the beginning of the deal. Hey, we work through word of mouth. If we can get your home approved, if everything checks out on our end, something that our company has, our the families we serve agree to, is just that they can work through word of mouth. Are you guys comfortable? Like if you're happy with a product and a service, do you generally talk about it? Yeah, okay. So if we're able to do this, then you'd be fine introducing me to a few of your family and friends and just like see that from the beginning, right? Then like when you bring it up the end, you're like, hey, remember how I said that we work through word of mouth? Yeah, so this is the part where we just get like a couple introductions from, and you can think on it. You can, talk to them first and everything. But before I go, we just get at least 3 people where that you think could be good candidates for this, and then we just do a quick introduction, have them, and then pass them, assume it, right? Pass them the pen and the sheet of paper, and then doing it that way, it's like very rare that I don't get at least 3 names from it. And I even had one lady last week got 14 names from doing this. Okay, so you're not stopping at 3. You're saying, hey, if you can get to 10, and I have a whole process set up where it's like I'll put them in a drawing to win a trip if they can get to at least 10 names and make those introductions. So you get people excited about it. It's like they're at 6. You're like, oh, 4 more. You got 4 more. Let's keep looking through your contacts. You got it. And they're like, okay, sweet. Yeah, let me, I don't know 4 more, but let me keep looking. And you just get them bought in with it. And yeah, it's been working well. So that's what I'm doing currently, and always trying to improve it. But yeah, it's the basics of what I'm doing for referrals right now.
I love that. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. It's been an awesome conversation. Obviously I can go for another 2 hours, but I want to respect your time because I know that you're about to get back out on doors and be with the family. So where can people find you at?
Yeah, right now I'm most active on Instagram. That's at Taylor J Armstrong, and then we have the podcast. Instagram is just I think it's at the Solarpreneur Podcast. Then we recently started a YouTube too. We're trying to add like, the podcast footage, things like that on there. So that's just Solarpreneur Podcast on YouTube. And we're starting to add a lot of content there too. So yeah, anyone that's listening, go give it a follow and love to connect with you. So hit me up.
Awesome. Yeah, you put a lot of valuable content out there, man. A lot of guys in the industry listen and consume your content, and I've heard a lot of really good things about your stuff, and I've also listened to it as well. And you're a great interviewer as well too. So you don't just have just interviews; you have just one-on-one, like just you talking about things that you're going through in your sales, things like that. So I appreciate you putting out content like that too, bro. So thank you.
Yeah, you too,
Any
man.
yeah, of course, brother. Any final words for the Golden Door Award winners?
Not too much. I'd say just, yeah, like we talked about before, just be consistent, super consistent in what you do. Two books that I always recommend are The Slight Edge, The Compound Effect. We'll just talk about the power of consistency and just how, the whole concept, a penny multiplied every day for 30 days is greater than $1,000,000. So it's the same thing in solar, anything we do in life. If you can multiply these tiny things, just do them consistently, then I think anyone has the ability to be a Golden Door winner. It's just how consistent can you be, even if you're not the greatest salesman, even if you're not a Ricardo Ritchie who's doing 400 deals like his first or second year in solar, you can do the same things if you're just consistent with it and just try and add one layer at a time, like we talked about. Just maybe it's adding the referrals, maybe it's adding a setter team, maybe it's adding a virtual assistant, help you outsource more tasks. And I think that's how it's done. So that's about it, man.
I love that. Awesome, Taylor, dude. Taylor Armstrong, it's been a pleasure. You're an outstanding individual for the industry. I appreciate the work that you're doing, brother. And gonna have to have you on the show again, man. So God bless you, man. Appreciate you, and go crush it. We'll see you on stage this coming up year.
Let's go. Thanks, Mikey. Thanks for the podcast. It's been awesome. All right, guys. See ya.
Yes, sir. Later, brother.